Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Dylan Neighbor Cruz, the tattooed theologian here, and it is Pride Month. And that means that conservative Christians who don't know what they're talking about are going to start talking about Leviticus as if they know what it means and as if they follow every jot and tittle of Leviticus. So let's talk about Leviticus just for a second. Because there's a verse in Leviticus 18, verse 22, that is constantly used to say, see, it's a sin to be homosexual, and therefore it's an abomination before the Lord, and things like that. It's the kind of nonsense that I was taught in the early 90s when I was still immersed in Southern Baptist Church and fundamentalist fuckwittery. Okay, so here we go. Got my Bible, my New Oxford Annotated New Revised Standard Edition Bible here. And remember, it's verse 18:22 that they often leverage to weaponize the Bible. But I want to back up just a little bit in chapter 18 of Leviticus because it tells you precisely who this particular chapter was written for. So in Leviticus 18, 1 through 3, it says, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the people of Israel and say to them, I am the Lord your God. You shall not do as they do in the land of Egypt where you lived, and you shall not do as they do in the land of Canaan to which I am bringing you. You shall not follow their statutes. So right away, the idea that anything that follows in chapter 18 is meant to be for all times, all places, and all peoples is put to bed. Because the writer of Leviticus, or writers, probably writers, tell you precisely who these words are for. So no, you cannot broadly generalize this to all times, all places, and all peoples. So if we flip the page, it says, you shall not lie with a male as with a woman, it is an abomination. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman, it is an abomination. The context of this is that in the verses surrounding it, it gives a lot of different topics about sexual matters. But what you don't see in this verse, what jumps off the page right away, is there's nothing about lesbians here, like at all. And so it's not a blanket prohibition against homosexuality at all. It's very specific. And scholars do disagree on what this may have meant. But my Old Testament professor, Dr. Julia O'Brien, who wrote a lot of the commentary in this particular Bible, so she knows what she's about, said that this verse is literally in the ancient Hebrew not translatable. So any translation that you get is a best guess. Maybe. And Rabbi Danya Ruttenberg said, if you think you know what that verse means, no, you don't. Because in the ancient Hebrew, it's not directly translatable. Right above it, it says right after it, it says you shall not have sexual relations with any animal and defile yourself. Or, nor shall any woman give herself to an animal. So see, there's a lot of prohibitions here. But they're not about consensual, same-sex relationships between people, adult people. They're just not. Because there was no concept of homosexuality as a sexual orientation when this was written. And again, there's nothing whatsoever about lesbians here. And so it can't possibly be a blanket condemnation against homosexuals. And even if it was, which it's not, when we go back one page to the beginning of chapter 18, it tells you this is for the Israelites who are still traveling from Egypt to Canaan. It's not for all times, all places, and all peoples. And it's important to remember also that in those days, sex was used as a weapon. And so it was very common in the ancient Near East for warriors in battle to humiliate those who they defeated by using sex as a weapon, using rape as a weapon. So when people start ballyhooing about Leviticus and saying it says right there that being gay is a sin, no, it doesn't. We do not have anything in the 31,102 verses of the Protestant canon of the Bible that suggest that modern conceptions of sexual orientation between same-sex people in consenting adult relationships is a sin. There's just nothing there because it's not the fucking same. Sex and sexual ethics from the ancient Near East don't look anything like they do today, where consent was never, ever considered. Men could basically have sex with whomever they wanted in many cultural contexts throughout the ancient Near East, including among the Israelites. Women's consent wasn't really a factor. And when sex was used as a weapon between same-sex peoples, consent was definitely not a factor. So remember, folks, Leviticus doesn't say that it's a sin to be gay. Being LGBTQ+ is neither a sin nor a choice, but being a bigot is both. Peace be with you.